Okay, welcome back to our retrospective of videos.
Yeah, we're going back and
past.
looking at videos that we've made over the last year. Ones that we feel, I don't know, are we proud of them?
I think so. I certainly am.
I think so.
Today is my pick, and I'm going to pick the OG video on our channel, the very first one that we did, which is you foolishly jumping out of a plane.
So stupid.
While playing it. Now,
such a bad idea.
Now, before we start watching this, I should mention, the origin of this goes back years before we started the channel, and where we were doing a studio show for a television network. And you had an idea in the writer's room like 5-6 years ago, where you said, what if we do this thing that's extreme board gaming? And, we jump out of a plane while we try to play. And at the time, it seemed too expensive.
Yeah. And too ridiculous.
And too dangerous.
Yes. All of those things.
Fast forward to when we started doing it for YouTube, where we have that real YouTube money. And for some reason,
piles of YouTube money.
And for some reason, when we were doing it for a major network, it felt too expensive. But when we were doing it for YouTube, we're like, hey, we should do that.
I will say this, though. It also feels like it's the type of thing that caters to a YouTube audience.
Sure.
Like it feels like something that, like, if you're like, did you see that thing on YouTube? Like, fill in the blank. I feel like an appropriate fill in for that blank is the guy jumping out of a plane playing playing a board game.
And I don't think this was the first thing that it certainly wasn't the first thing we shot for the channel, because we shot other stuff before the pandemic. And I don't even think this was the first thing that we shot new for the channel, but I think this was the first thing that we aired.
Yes.
Because we knew that this was going to be, we wanted something really impressive out of the block.
Yep.
And we knew that this would be it.
Yes.
This is by far the most impressive thing I think that we had shot for the channel, for the network version, or for this. So So that was so let's start watching it.
Let's give it a gander.
Okay. Old opening.
Still fun.
Okay, everybody.
Hey, it's Trevor's host.
In this launch video, we really got to come out of the gate strong. I guess we did. Yeah. That means we need some ideas that are going to blow people's minds. Anybody? And I should mention, all three of those women were completely new to the channel.
Yep.
This was the very first thing they shot with us.
Yeah.
Because the three women we had before, Kim Evie, Pauline Yasuda, and Beth Leckby, all moved on to other things.
Yes.
We missed them. We would, if they ever want to come back and do something with us, they absolutely
might.
can. Yeah. I know Beth would love to. She just lives in Texas now. So we're going to fly her in eventually. We do some musical stuff. We'll bring Beth back. But so we needed to go out and get
some new people.
And this was
some new faces.
This is brand new for them. What do you got?
Oh! We can try and skydive while playing a board game.
I do love that we gave
out of a perfectly good moving
this
plane.
idea to Lex.
No, not me. I'm just
like
saying
that was
someone
our idea.
Not it.
Not me.
Right here, bro. I got this. I'll do this. It'll be.
Why do you look so much younger?
I don't know.
Because you look really young there.
Yeah.
Maybe
it was
it's
just
the
a year
beard.
ago. It's been a hard year, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
I can do this.
You look about 10 years younger.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can play a tabletop board game while skydiving. It's physics.
If you want the
Exactly.
ultimate,
I want the ultimate.
you've got to be willing to pay the ultimate price.
Oh, yeah.
you just quote Point
Topical
Break?
Point Break reference.
Don't do that again.
Yeah, it's a bad movie.
It can be done, and I'm going to do it.
I do
we
love
actually-
that one of our negative comments was that we made fun of Point Break.
Yes.
like I don't, and honestly, I don't think we ever make fun of Point Break. Like, I lean into the idea that it's an inspiration for me to do this.
And there are a lot more it's the girls. The girls say don't kind of denigrate Point Break.
It's a joke. Get over it.
But we actually had a lot more Point Break lines.
Yes, we did.
We cut out quite a bit of our Point Break.
It's not the topical film you might think it is.
Yeah, strangely.
Right? I am going to actually do it. I got this.
to the extreme.
You edited this as well. Yeah, so this is all you doing cool editing stuff. All right, not so fast, Johnny Utah.
You know, I think
See,
it's
there it is.
cute that you're
Point Break
worried about
reference.
my safety.
I think it's super cute that you think that's why I'm hesitating.
Okay, well then what's the deal? Why not do this? Okay, this will be a big video like you want.
Okay, all right. Let me get this straight. The bit's extreme board gaming.
Right.
You're gonna jump out of an airplane
Yes.
and try and play a tabletop game while plummeting toward the earth.
I do not like the term plummeting, but yes, that's the idea.
Okay, all right. What game are you gonna use? So this is exactly the conversation that you and I had.
Yeah.
And you really were pushing to play an actual board game.
Yeah.
And I was like,
You discouraged it.
well, physics.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I discouraged it. It was like,
Like, how are you
what
going
do
to accomplish it?
Yeah. It's just, it wasn't possible. And you argued it with me.
Destinies, how about A Feast for Odin?
Have you played A Feast for Odin?
No, I've actually been dying to. It sounds fun.
Okay. Oh my. Look, any game with a board. Do you know wind shear?
Yeah, I get it. Terminal velocity, Bernoulli's principle.
And we actually argued back and forth on this, and I kept saying, you understand that if there are pieces and they're loose and everything, like there's a hazard, like you can kill somebody or yourself with this stuff, and you would just you were adamant at one point that you were going to play an actual board game and unfold the board somehow.
I still think I can.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I understand.
factor.
But that's not a scientific term. Okay?
It will be.
But look, listen. We can get all sciencey, put on some lab coats, start doing experiments. Will that make you feel better about all of this?
By experiments, do you mean you're going to destroy the games in the process?
That is highly likely.
Why don't you use Monopoly then?
Great. Alexa, put on a lab coat. You're going to be helping me.
Why?
Because this was your idea.
Fine. So long as I don't have to jump out of an airplane.
By the end of this, you're probably going to want to.
Nobody's going to want to.
Yeah. And that turned out to be more true than.
Exactly.
So I will say that, like, one of the ideas that we had initially when it came to the extreme board gaming thing was that we wanted to kind of lean into the Mythbusters dynamic,
Right.
where it was about experimentation, preparation, all this stuff. And, you know, we found after doing it that, like, sometimes the more sincere route is just the better way to go.
Yeah, it just, well, I mean, because we went from this one and then to the shark one.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a conscious decision. It's just after the shark one, like you said, what if we just actually show what we're going through to do this? And that became the more interesting story. Our original idea was kind of like this. It was goofier and a little bit more,
and
stuff
if
that
you've watched us watching the shark video, you know that we had all these jokes set up, we had all this stuff ready to go, we bought props for it.
Yeah, we had this whole thing with the blow up sharks and everything.
Then reality entered the picture, and it just turned out that wow, that's more interesting than anything else.
Right. And we could have done that with this one.
Yes.
But if we had,
But here's the thing, like, honestly, this dynamic I thought is going to be pretty funny.
This is my son's favorite part of this video.
It is?
Is
Okay.
like watching you like get nailed with. He loves this. So, and it's funny. Like it's not that it's not funny. It's a good look for you.
Maybe something lighter?
I would have loved to have seen you try to play Twister.
I think, again, like, revisiting this concept at some point.
Maybe a smaller board?
I love the fact, by the way, that my little friend is one of the two
Yes.
blowers. Leaf blower. I don't think I noticed that joke until just now.
If you go back in our parking lot, you can literally still find pieces from Trivial Pursuit.
Trivial Pursuit?
I tried to pick them all up, but every now and then I'll be walking through and I'll be like, oh, there's another piece. There's another pie piece from Trivial Pursuit.
I'm sorry, this just isn't working.
What are you talking about? This is working perfectly.
Wait a second.
Leaf blower? Really?
What? It's
I must
funny.
have noticed that.
You have
I'm just
to. You're just
re-noticing it. I
forgetting
guess.
Drama. This is the drama.
Hit you in the face.
Possibly. All right, look, but it occurred to me, not all tabletop games have sports.
Is that a revelation for you, or?
Look, I think the best way to...
Why does it look like I'm wearing a toupee in this scene?
Because you were.
I don't wear toupees,
Yeah,
but it does look like I have
head for something else.
No, I didn't, though. I'd be the first to admit if I had a hairpiece.
To just do it. It's time to put it into practice.
Be the worst hairpiece ever.
Mythbusters, they usually do a bunch more science and experimentation before they get right to the stupid and dangerous.
Yeah, we don't need gravimetric geophysics. We just need me to jump.
I looked up a lot of big words for this video.
Huh?
Did you? Did we have more Mythbustery stuff that we thought we were going to shoot?
Oh yeah, we shot like a whole like lab scene where it was like me like doing me and Lex doing scientific experiments on like game pieces and stuff like that.
And that just never worked?
It was silly. It was just so silly and over the top. It just didn't fit.
It's time to rock and roll.
Big Hand says maybe you should practice first.
Yeah, nobody pays attention to the big hand.
Everybody pays attention to the big. That's why they call it the Big Hand.
Come on, just let me do this, all right? It'll be a big video to launch with. Come on.
Okay. But I'm going to get a stunt coordinator and a bunch of safety guys.
To the extreme.
To the extreme.
So. So the day that we had the whole film crew there was not the first time you jumped.
No.
Because you wanted it to be, if you remember.
I did.
And I argued with you. I said, Leif, I think it's a good idea that you go jump out of a plane first.
Sure.
So that you get some kind of an idea of what the conditions are going to be before we try this in with the cameras.
And that almost backfired on you.
It did.
So the whole story is that I went skydiving when I was like 21, 22 years ago.
This is very similar to like my story with the sharks in that I did it 20 years ago.
I thought it's no problem. I loved it. Like it was one of those things that after I landed, I was like, I cannot wait to do this again. I'm going to get certified in this. I'm going to go up there, and this might be my life.
Yeah,
like,
this is going to be your hobby. You're a skydiver now.
Yep. So like I was broke at the time, but I started the process of investigating how to become certified so that I skydive whenever I wanted to.
It's too bad you hadn't, because then you wouldn't have needed a tandem guy. Like it would have been a complete different video.
But flash forward. 30 years later, Trav tells me to go take a test jump.
Yeah.
And that I did the Friday before the Monday where we were shooting.
And we did shoot, we shot some of the stuff in the air.
Yep.
Because we had the, because you shot, you went with the cinematographer and the stunt.
And Brian was there as well.
And Brian Spillane was there.
Because actually the place that we jumped from was close to his house. So he came over with a camera. And I went up.
Did Brian direct this, or did I direct it?
Brian
directed this. Yeah.
So so we'll go there. I'm meeting, a lot of the team that's there and stuff like that. And I'm starting to, I don't know, I guess get nervous, I guess is the way to phrase it. But I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. Of course I'm nervous. It'll be fine. So I get on the plane.
And unlike me, you should know, Leif is not the kind of person who wears his emotions on his face or like will tell you, I'm having difficulty with something. I'm a soft marshmallow of a human being, and you're kind of like, you're hardwood. You're a man, and
sure,
you don't want to show that.
Yeah, maybe. So we go up, and on the plane ride itself, I start to what can be categorized as having a panic attack.
Sure.
Where I'm like, what the hell am I doing? This is insane. This is crazy. Because I think what comes with age is, of course, a greater sense of mortality. So like when you're young, in your 20s, you're like, who cares? It'll be fine.
I have a theory. I think it all comes down to your knees. I think when you're young, your knees don't feel anything that you do. You can jump off of a 10-foot thing, land, and your knees are fine.
Right.
If you try to just hop off a chair now, your knees feel every bit of that. And I do think that the knees are like directly connected to the panic part of our brain.
The knees for skydiving.
Sure.
So, but I'm in the plane and I'm like, there's no getting out of this now. Like we've committed all these resources to filming this bit. Like I just suck it up, buttercup, and jump out of the plane. So that's what I did. Like I jumped out of the plane, and unfortunately, Nothing against him, but my tandem instructor for this particular jump was doing what I think they feel like they should do every time they jump, which is giving you the most crazy, insane ride that you can have on the way down. So lots of spins, lots of...
Did you tell him you had skydived before?
Yes.
So maybe...
Mistake.
Yeah, so maybe he thought you were not necessarily a beginner and that you'd be bored by just jumping out of a plane and just jumping.
So we're doing all these spins and we're doing all this stuff, and the whole time I'm just like... starting to get nauseous, and then again the mortality starts setting in, all these mixed emotions, and I'm just like, what am I doing? This is
you're plummeting
stupid.
to Earth.
Oh yeah,
your brain has got to be telling you that death
not a good
is
idea.
imminent.
This is not a good idea. And I think, I think when you're younger, those moments, your brain says it, but there's other parts of you that are just like, shut up.
Sure.
Shut up. No. He's going to be fine. So the free fall is one thing. Like the free fall is definitely a rush. Like it happens so fast, and you're going, you're plummeting so fast that your brain doesn't really have time to comprehend what's going on. And for the longest time, the ground doesn't really get closer because it's just it's like a trick of the mind in that you're so high up, it just looks like you're floating.
The height doesn't feel real from that distance.
No.
Until you have a frame of reference and you start to,
Right. So then you get to the point where you're supposed to pull the chute, your instructor pulls the chute, and it's a nice gradual, deceleration in your descent. And then you're hanging there. And again, he thinks, oh, let's have some fun. So he's doing all these wild turns, and your G-forces are just increasing on every time you swing around. And the whole time your brain's just like, confused and trying to process it, and your stomach's turning and all this stuff. And the whole time I'm just like, I can't do this. Like, I cannot do this. Because the other thing that has come with age is I have become way more experienced in rigging. Like, because part of my job as a set constructor or a carpenter or anything like that, I'm very familiar with rigging, and also all of my stunt experience. I'm familiar with rigging. So while I'm looking at the harness that's holding me in, I notice that there are 2 points of contact, where typical safety, there's like at least 6 or 8 points of contact. So it's like you got these 2 carabiners right here that are keeping you from plummeting to the earth, because he has all these points of contact with the parachute, but you don't. You only have points of contact with him.
Sure.
And I think there's actually 4. I said 2, but there's actually 4. But still, your brain starts to go, that's not enough.
And as the ground comes closer, your knees are going,
no,
that's a bad idea.
So anyway, so that first jump, as all this mortality setting in, and all these other damning thoughts are setting in, you come in for the landing, and I to my own credit, I do a great landing.
Sure.
Brian is right there on the ground with the camera, filming the whole thing. And he comes up and he's just like trying to get my reaction from this great jump that I did. And I said, turn off the effing camera.
And because he's Brian, he did it.
He did it.
If it had been me, I would have said, keep that camera rolling.
Because at that point, like I felt like I was going to pass out. I felt like I was going to die, and I was convinced I am not doing this jump on Monday.
Right. Yeah, that's the call that because Brian called me up after you did it, and he said we may have a problem. We may have a problem. You need to talk to Leif because he had a rough first jump.
Yes.
And I thought, of course, Brian is like. Brian, like, don't call me up right after you jump and go, we may have a problem. Because I thought, oh my God, did he break something? Or
is he still alive?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then you called me up. But by the time you called me, you felt like you could do it. I think you
lied.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you?
I did.
So you lied to me on the phone?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
I mean, I think I don't want to say it was an outright lie, but yes, there was I was definitely still having huge reservations.
Sure.
Like I was definitely of the opinion that I'm going to have to talk myself into this all weekend.
And we had a real serious talk where I told you, if you feel like you can't do it, don't do it. And I told you all the way up, and I said, this needs to be the rule with all the extreme videos,
Right.
that all the way up to the moment we do it, you can tap out. You can say, nope, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
That safety was more important than getting the video. What's funny is knowing that you ignored that and pushed through, and I did the same thing. Like,
Right.
I know that we say this, but at the same time we're like, no, you're gonna, it's like it's a weird mind thing.
And I think the reason for that is because I also knew, like, even though I had all these like intellectual debates going on with myself, this emotional reaction to this scenario, I also knew I would not forgive myself if I didn't do it.
Right.
Like, I knew that in order for me to feel like I'm still me, I had to complete the action. I had to do it.
Sure.
So that's why, again, it's not an outright lie, but there was definitely that side of me was talking louder than the other side of
Right.
like, I have to do this.
All right. Let's. So this was the day that
So
we
this is
actually
that
shot.
Monday. Yeah.
So I saw this movie the other night. You ever seen Dread?
Oh, yeah.
The villain of
This was my idea, and you went along with it, but you were not happy because this was before you jumped, I believe, right? Or was this after? You
No,
weren't.
I think this was before because we had a
Yeah.
delay that day.
Yes.
Remember, there was
We
a
had to-
weather delay.
We had to wait a long time. We thought
had
maybe
to,
it wasn't going to happen.
We had to wait like 6 hours, I think.
But
I
you
wanna
were
say.
not seeing the humor of this bit
Was
at
not.
all.
Was not.
Like at all. The look on your face is you were kind of ticked at me for even doing this.
the very end of the film plummets thousands of feet to her death in slow motion.
What happens to the body when it hits the ground at 100?
Nothing good. Hey, did you also know that 1 in every 200 parachutes, you open it up and it's just lunch?
Oh,
That's my favorite.
Falls out.
One in
Like
200?
the cartoons. You see it in cartoons.
Oh,
it's just,
yeah, well,
it's
then
just
you're
a
right. I have
sandwich and a
seen it.
banana.
You're so pissed off at me for doing that.
So,
And we had multiple takes of this because it was a bunch of
Yeah,
different
yeah,
things.
yeah.
I
And
was
there's a
saying
bunch
all
of
these horrible
improv ideas. Yeah,
things, and at one point you just said, "You need to stop doing that right now." Like you just weren't seeing the humor of any of it.
So one of the reasons, again, we had the delay. One of the good things that happened as a result of it was that I spent a lot of time because we did hire a real stunt team.
Yeah.
So we got a guy,
Safety first.
Joe, who was one of the stunt team for the original Point Break.
Yeah.
Did all the jumps with, helped train Keanu, all that stuff. Like, so he is well experienced, and also my tandem instructor. Like, just
Who was a
talking
different guy
Who was a different
This
guy.
is a different guy.
So both these guys were there for me. My tandem instructor, like, he started talking, and I was like, "How many jumps have you done?" And he said, "Oh, at this point, it's like well past 20,000, maybe past 25,000 jumps." And I said, "Have you had any scares?" And his line that he said to me was, "Oh, even the scares don't scare me anymore." And I was like in my head, I was like, that's frightening as hell, but also reassuring too. Like, that this guy has done it so many times. He is so calm about it. Like, he doesn't even second guess anything.
Well, think about it. For them, it's like driving a car.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have you almost been in an accident?
Right.
And in the moment, it's a little scary, but you don't dwell on it afterwards. You just that's what it's like driving a car.
Getting to talk to these guys about all this stuff did do a great level of reassuring me. Because the other thing that I didn't mention is the night before this, so Sunday night into Monday morning, I have often used the expression, "I didn't sleep last night," which is you sleep some and you're tossing and turning. I did not sleep a wink.
Wow.
Like, honestly, I didn't. There was no point in the night that my eyes closed and I got any sort of Z's. Like, I got up the next day out of bed going, how the heck am I going to do this? Because you need sleep for your brain. Like, you need your brain to work. You need all these other things that sleep provides. And I was going into this scared and not having those resources that I needed, that I knew I needed. So I showed up that day at this place just being like, this is bad. This is so bad. But I got on that plane.
Yeah, you had it was an interesting day with you because you were not your normal self, and I don't want to say you were grumpy because you weren't really grumpy, but you were just.
I was very short. I'm sure I was short.
Like you didn't want to.
No joking around.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like normally when we do this stuff, it's a lot of joking around. And you had no interest in any of that.
Today, we're at Skydive Elsinore.
That beautiful lake, Elsinore.
So on the way there, I stopped and got gas at a gas station in Lake Elsinore, and they just happened to have that game sitting there at like the gas station. And I'm like, well, I'm using that.
Yeah.
There's no way that's not coming with me.
Everything is a game.
And that became our
It's the first time
logo,
we said that.
Slogan, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Walgreens.
We are here so that I can prove to this guy that I can play a tabletop game with skydiving.
I guess I was at Walgreens. I think I must have stopped and gotten drinks at Walgreens.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking.
Which I still think is a terrible idea. What game are you going to use?
Bop It.
Bop It.
Wait.
So we went back and forth a lot about what game could be played.
Sure.
And we even changed some things after you did the dive because you wind shear became real for you.
Yeah.
And you're like, so we settled on 3 games.
Yep.
Also, we were very limited by what they would allow us to bring up.
Yeah.
Anything that was bigger than a card, they had to be secured.
Right.
So,
because there's the risk of dropping things that land on the ground, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You should be playing against someone though, right? To make it a real game?
Alexa, it's your last chance.
Nope, and no.
Okay, well then I'm going to play against my tandem partner.
Are you sure he's going to be okay with that?
He said as long as I don't puke, it's A-okay.
True story. Like that's one of the things they say to you, just don't throw up. Like that's all they care about. Because I'm sure that happens more than they would like.
Oh God, yeah. And can you imagine vomiting at that
speed, and all it does is just go back and in their face. That's why they wear the helmets, because it hopefully, doesn't go right in their eyes that way.
I would imagine, because when you think about it, that helmet's really not helping
It's not
for
helping
like
much.
it's not a crash
It's
helmet.
not like you have a windshield wiper on it.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, there's no other reason to have that helmet.
To the plane!
To the ground!
Getting ready for the big jump?
Yeah.
Nice.
You want to go with me?
Yeah.
We kind of came up with this in the moment.
In the moment, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's great. It does make me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Wait, are you serious? You would go skydiving?
Yeah, I'll go skydiving. Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
That's awesome. Then get on a jumpsuit.
Okay, I will. We're gonna look like twins.
Right.
Yeah, all right.
Finger guns.
See you there. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did want like a right stuff moment, like
Sure.
like the astronauts walking to the to the rocket. So
And again, this was Devon's first piece with us, and she was really, really good at
yeah,
it.
she's great. I love this next scene. It's the plane. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Going up, and you're not being on it when you come back down.
Hey, you okay?
Now, but you could. You can opt out.
Oh yeah. They let you opt out until you get to the door. Like once you're at that door, like you're going.
Yeah.
No! We're actually going up in the air.
Well, yeah, that's the idea here. We're going skydiving.
I thought we were doing this green screen.
Why would you think that?
Because we have a green screen.
No, we're going up. This is real.
I'm not jumping.
What?
I'm not jumping.
You're not jumping.
No, because I will die. People die all the time. They know.
And if you look closely, you'll see both of our tandem guys behind us like laughing because
Yeah.
they're just enjoying this.
Die. And if you don't die, you're gonna break your legs when you land, and your arms. You're gonna break your whole face.
Your arms.
These are our money makers. And I know that you're old. You're really old. But you have a good-looking face.
Thanks.
When when I saw this footage, because I wasn't on the plane obviously when you guys were shooting this, I was laughing so hard. She just sold that so well.
Yeah, she's great.
And again, I don't think the lines were written. I think this was just her making.
We improvised the scene and then shot it.
And guess? It's okay, man.
And he did too.
But we'll be fine.
They have to say that.
He improvised that line.
Going to die.
And again, I don't think you had done the jump yet.
No.
So she's doing this whole bit about you're going to die and break your face and everything. And again, that can't be helping your mental state.
Not at all.
No. So that's really the look of
Yep,
Leif
that's
terrified right there.
Yep.
You kind of look like you haven't slept the night before.
I did not. So that makes sense.
Not because I'm not gonna jump. I'm gonna live. He knows we're living. You're dying. Sorry.
The guy's like, yep, we are.
Oh God.
She actually was given if she wanted to actually jump, that we would have.
Yeah.
But she did not want to jump. Nobody wanted to jump.
Nobody did.
It was everybody was. It was literally anybody wanted to jump. Nobody wanted to jump.
Everybody was there to support me, but not to that extent.
Yeah. So this is real. This is you doing it.
Oh my God, my heart just skipped a beat right there watching that.
This is still one of the most impressive pieces of footage.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I still can't believe you did this.
I mean, look at me. Oh my God, I'm
And you guys are actually playing Bop It. Like, that's not a joke. Like, you guys played Bop It back and forth.
You got a little piece of Joe over there, my stunt coordinator, camera guy.
Twist it. Oh, you're so high.
Funny joke. Funny joke. You came up with that, right?
Yeah. I just sent Kurt out there. I said, Kurt, act as if you're trying to get the sound.
So silly, but so funny.
Once again, actual sound guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you do you fully remember this, or is this just you do?
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
Because unlike mine, where I was down there for an hour, the jump doesn't last that long.
No, it's just
so it's like a pretty quick thing.
Yep.
Game over.
It just looks so high.
Perfect landing. Yeah. That was a really good landing.
That was us really being excited because we had no idea.
Yep.
We were also excited that it just happened.
Right.
Because they had told us at one point that they didn't think we were going to be able to do it today. Which didn't make me as the producer very happy.
No.
This was,
It made me happy.
This was a pretty expensive shoot.
Bop it.
He didn't die.
I mean, the one thing I do want to say about this video is, like, looking at me in the...
All right, man.
They gave us the option, like, if you go skydiving now, you do not have to wear the jumpsuit anymore. Like, that's a thing. Like, you can just go in your regular clothes.
Well, why would you, though? That you look cool in the jumpsuit.
Exactly. So I insisted that we put on the jumpsuit because I wanted to look. And now when I see it, I'm like, yeah, that looks cool.
You look like an action star.
Yeah.
Because you actually played Bop It while skydiving, I got a special surprise for you. I brought in the creator of the Bop It, Dan Klitsner. Come on in, Dan.
Dan.
So I don't remember exactly where in the process, because we decided on the Bop It, and then
It was quick. Yeah.
Then Corey was like, I know the guy who created the Bop It, Dan Klitsner.
Yeah.
And he lives, I believe, in the Bay Area. And he's like, I could just call him up and ask me if he wants to be there.
And what's great for us is that Dan is in and out Bop It.
Oh yeah, like
he lives
Bop It, and he's a super nice guy.
Yep.
And basically, we called him. Corey called him up, and then he got back to me, and it was just like this. Thank God I picked up the phone because there was no indication. And so I talked to him, and he's like, yeah. And it was. We gave him like 4 days notice or something.
Yeah,
it was really,
much.
really short.
Yep.
Because we didn't plan to have him there at all.
No.
And he's like, yeah, I'll come down and I'll do that. And so I picked him up from the airport, I think the night before.
Yeah.
And then it was about a 3-hour drive from Los Angeles to
Lake Elsinore.
Lake Elsinore. And I drove him there. It was just me and Dan talking about the Bop It.
Oh, Dan has stories about the Bop It.
Because he has some great Bop It stories.
He just
6 hours of them.
Yep, lots of stories.
And but he's the nicest guy, and
he's great.
He's a fan of the show. He was he did everything he could to help us, and I can't say enough good about Dan. But it was a surprise to us that this happened too. And it was a fun little add-on to what we were doing.
Wow, congratulations. I've always wanted to see someone do that. I've never heard of anyone skydiving with a Bop It.
He was actually pretty charged that we were doing this. And it's true. He said he had never heard, and he was pretty insistent that if someone had, he would know.
Right.
I just have one question. When it was time to pull the chute, did it say bop it, twist it, or pull it?
That was his joke.
He comes with jokes.
Yep, he did.
It's a Bop It joke from Dan Klitsner.
Hold on. In the time that I was up there, you brought in Dan Klitsner?
Oh, yeah. I'm resourceful.
He kind of kidnapped me.
You have to admit it. I did it. I played a tabletop game while skydiving.
He did. I got to admit that.
You know, Bop It's not a tabletop game. It's a handheld electronic talking game, the first of its kind. Very proud of that.
I guess you got a point there. That is the beauty of the Bop It. You can play it wherever. I mean, I didn't say that. That's Dan Klitsner, creator of the Bop It.
You're out. Not a tabletop.
Not a tabletop game.
And he gave us, by the way, he gave us a bunch of sound clips of the Bop It, like the original sound clips. And later on, we do a piece with the evil Bop It and got the actual voice of the Bop It to do the voiceover for us. Yeah. Again, all because of Dan. Dan helping us out.
That's gotta hurt.
That's the beauty of it.
So one of the things from a production standpoint, and that you can hear here, this place was so loud.
Planes
Move, and like just
lots
everything
of
happening around us, and it was just so hard to get the sound here. We had and wind. Yes. Like there's just so much going on. This was like the worst place to try and get sound from. And we struggled with that throughout the whole shoot.
Now, one more idea.
Oh, yeah?
One more idea.
All right.
There's Joe. You can see Joe's face there.
This was the one thing they allowed us to because
it was soft and
they figured also from wind wise they're like it's not gonna.
Oh God. Oh, so silly.
Then you just, yep, there it goes.
It's a good joke too, though.
We never found that burrito.
No, if you want to go out there and look for it, around Lake Elsinore, you can find it. It's out there somewhere.
This also was supposed to be a continuing joke for all of our extreme videos. Mm-hmm. We brought Throw Burrito to the shark shoot. Yeah. With the idea that we would
try to throw it
underwater. But it was supposed to happen in the second shoot,
which we
never had. And so, so there you go. We also discovered that in testing that the throw burrito is extremely porous and would just become waterlogged. And
it did?
Sink.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Did it get any easier the second jump? Slightly. Yeah.
Because what I did was I talked to both of my guys and I was like, look, I'm having trouble. And they were very understanding. Like, they were the best. And they were like, okay, what we'll do this time is we'll take it a little easier, like all that stuff. So yes, it got much easier. Because again, the free fall is one thing. It's once the canopy's open and you're under that chute, because you'll see right there, look, like you have to navigate where you're going to land.
Right.
So it involves.
I mean, you're in the middle of the city.
Right.
Yeah.
So it involves a lot of driving on their part to make sure that you get to the right spot. And when you're driving, it involves turning, and it's the turning because that's where the G-forces really come in, and that's where your stomach just starts to weigh on you. And I hadn't eaten. I hadn't done the things I should have done to prep for this.
Yeah. And I tried to get you to eat food and and you You did not want my help that day with anything. You just wanted me to leave you alone.
Honestly, I had to have like horse blinders on of just being like, just do it and shut up. Like, just get it done. And yes, as a result, everybody that was around me, and everybody, again, everybody was doing their best to be supportive of me.
Sure.
I just was not in a frame of mind to accept it.
Yeah.
Like, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, which is understandable. Like, I mean, it's how, everybody reacts to fear in a different way. That's a beautiful shot. So if you see like different, the reason why there are color differences in this video is that the day kept going from sunny to cloudy, sunny to cloudy.
The weather was so unpredictable.
We had a really hard time getting consistency in how the video looked. It was a rough to make it look like
another idea.
Okay.
So we didn't do 3 that day. We did 2 that day and 1 the day before, but we had you coming out of the airplane 3 times because we shot that. So what 2 games did you do in one jump?
Would have been Throw, Burrito, and Uno.
And Uno, okay. And yeah, the idea of actually playing Uno was I mean, we manufacture it here, but how fast did those cards just get ripped out of your hand?
Oh, it was fun. Like that, honestly, because at this point, the last jump, I'm feeling better.
It looks like a magic trick because you can't even see the card disappear.
But I'm feeling better, and I think also it's just this is the last jump. Like I don't have to do this again, and also I start to. Because I think earlier you alluded to like that I'm this tough guy and all that stuff, and that's why I don't want to do it. I'm also, to give myself credit, I'm also a dedicated professional.
Sure,
you know what I mean? Like, so
absolutely.
When it comes to what is required of the job, I will always do it. And to great fault at times. Like I've broken my arm doing stunts. I've hurt myself seriously doing stunts because that's what the job required, and I don't say anything. I just do it.
We're also old time. Both of us were stage actors back in the day, and the whole show must go on kind of thing is not a.
It's not a phrase. It's like it's
I mean that's really how
ingrained in you.
actors. You're bred that way to feel that way. So there is that thing of like, no matter what happens, you've gone on with a broken leg. I got stabbed and finished the scene one time in a stage play that I did. So I mean, it's like you just don't. The show is
so
king,
you just keep going, and so like for me, this is like okay, this is my last take. I'm going to do the best take that I can, and then I don't have to do another take again. So, like, once you kind of adopt that philosophy, like
whether you want to or not,
because
that was, I think it was like right at the end of the day too. So it was a miracle we got that second dive in.
I would say that I borderline enjoyed this jump.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
That's good.
Like I started to give myself permission to be like, look at the scenery. Look how gorgeous everything is. Feel the wind rushing through your hair.
Sure.
Like I started to try to give myself those moments, but you know, I was only successful to a degree. I would say.
Right. Well, that's why I asked you, do you remember it?
And then he's like, yep, time to go.
God, that looks so high. God, I wish the whole day had looked like that.
All right, Leif. Here he is.
By the way, I should mention every single one of us there, myself in particular, because my skin is so white, got horribly sunburned that day. I mean, really badly sunburned. Yeah. I came in the next day and was...
I am calling Uno and playing my last card.
All right.
I win. Yes.
A wild card, too.
I mean, did you win, though? Like, you fell from the sky, you jumped from a plane, you lost pretty much all your cards except for one.
Right.
But did you play the game?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm surprised you're not dead.
Life has a sick sense of humor, doesn't it?
Stop quoting Point Break.
We had a whole Point Break thing here, too, that we cut.
Yeah, you lost. But you may be the first person to parachute from an airplane and play Bop It. So here's a medal.
He brought that.
He brought that.
It's a golden Bop It.
Participation award.
And he literally gave it to you.
Let's call it a golden Bop It.
Okay. Failed Uno, but you won Bop It. Yeah.
So I win.
You won.
You bopped it.
Okay, that's weird. We did a Naked Gun police squad here.
Yeah.
I remember my first time playing Bop It.
I'm,
by the way, over there going, Dan.
Dan was just...
Dan.
Nice graphics.
So there we go. There's the first. Now, did I ever tell you that I was watching you do it and it looked like so much fun that I went to go see if I could skydive that day? Did I ever tell you that?
I think so. I don't remember. I knew that like we've talked about it since then that you're like.
I would like to lose.
Something.
Yeah, because I asked them, hey, how much do you have to weigh to skydive? And they said it was like 240 pounds. And I was like, I'm not 240 pounds, so I will not be skydiving today.
I shall see you again, sir.
But yeah, I did. The video made it look so much fun. Now, I'd probably be terrified too because I am scared of heights. So I mean that's an interesting.
Well, then come on.
It's I did really want to.
Yeah.
It does look like it would be fun, and it would be interesting to revisit that someday and have us both do it. I would have to lose still a significant amount of weight to get to that point. But
yeah, and I'm curious as if I could talk myself into it.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Would you? Because
here's the thing: like in a conversation, I will say I will do it, but
right
when it comes to like putting it on the schedule,
do you think though, like you would ever be somebody who just skydived and that was a fun thing for you?
So here's the other thing that I didn't talk about. At the time when we were doing this, it was almost going to be my daughter's 18th birthday. And the one thing that she wanted to do on her 18th birthday was to go skydiving. And so I landed and I was like, going, okay, that was my last jump. That was my last jump. That was my last jump. And then not long after that, I went, oh no. I promised her that we would go skydiving together when she turned 18. So then I was like, oh, God, what am I going to do? How do I get it? Luckily, she picked to do something else for her 18th birthday because I didn't want to, like, dissuade her from trying things. I don't want to be that person. So I was going to do it again. I really was, if she wanted to do it. It just turns out she didn't. She ended up not wanting to do it. Yeah. So if you came to me and you were like, I want to skydive for the show, I'd be like, okay, let's go. And then I wouldn't sleep the night before.
Right. Yeah. So yeah. I was the same thing with this shirt. I had these dreams when we started out of like, hey, I'll be a scuba diver because I bought all the equipment. Yeah. I had to. So I own all the equipment. And once I was done, I was like, and that's the last time I ever had to scuba dive.
Never do
nope. I just don't think, and it's sad because but it is what it is.
It is.
I still think it's one of the most impressive videos that we've ever put together. I know you said this to me, but I was super proud that you did it because I knew you were really scared because you told me you were.
Yeah.
Which is normally you wouldn't have. And it certainly looks amazing. I've seen it so many times.
It's just like, God, that's golden
and I still
footage.
Just look at it and it still looks amazing.
Yeah. Joe did a great job on that camera. Like it was just, it's so cinematic. It's so, everything about it. Like, it's just like,
Yeah. And I think for those of you who haven't seen the original video, like I said, we'll link below the video. I think it would have a lot more views now if we put it out.
Yeah.
Then it was our first video. And it got by far the most video for the longest time.
Yeah.
But it's just it's really incredible. Now,
come on, YouTube.
One of the things I will say before we
do stuff.
One of the things I do want to ask you right before we leave is because you have said to me that you wish you could have gone back in time and filmed it like we did the shark video in sharing how scared you were and not being goofy but being honest. And it would have made for a much different video.
And we were still figuring out the channel. We were still figuring out exactly how we wanted to approach this stuff. Like for the longest time, we were just like, we're just comedy. So just make it silly, make it dumb, make it funny.
Well, that's our background. We're both sketch comedy guys. And so everything that we do, we think in terms of sketch comedy.
But having watched what you experienced as being much more entertaining, yes, I definitely would have been more exposed. And I would have been fine with that because I think it would have made for a better video. Again, it's a great video. It's fun to watch, but I think there's something to the human experience that we all could have related to better with seeing the struggle that I was having. Yeah. Like honestly, like in my mind, I'm like, 3 a.m. that night when I couldn't sleep at all, like just getting up and recording a testimonial of just being like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. Like I think that would have been interesting.
I would have loved to have seen that too. Yeah. Well, next time. Right before the bees.
Oh, yeah.
We're about to shoot the bees.
Yeah. More on that later.
Yeah. So, subscribe, ring that bell.
Please.
Do all that
and
important
spread the
stuff.
word. Like, if you like what we're doing, spread the word because we want more people to come to this community so that we can share in these experiences together.
Absolutely. And until the next time.
Keep gaming? Which one are you going with?
I don't know.
Everything's a game?
I was setting you up. Sure. Everything is a game.
Everything is a game, even skydiving.